that Movistar, by picking apart Cyclowns, is finding a clear advantage. And we're going to see Temple of Anu is a very different map, being Assault, if Cyclowns can bring it back.
Another beautiful map. I think the firstborn of Overwatch. It was the first one created, and there's
changed
been some,
a lot.
It's good changes, in my opinion, too. Really smart changes opening up flanks. But more importantly, of course, you know me. Have you seen Good Will Hunting?
I have, yeah.
Okay.
Multiple times. It's been on.
It's been on HBO at our hotel the last couple nights. I've watched it a couple times. I've actually watched it a couple times in a row. Great movie. Yeah, Robin Williams, Matt Damon, Ben Affleck. So,
I mean, the choices normally are either Good Will Hunting or Crossroads, and I'm not watching Crossroads.
well, you should, diversify. You should watch everything. Even bad movies can teach you something, right? And learn. It seems like you disagree. You're probably right. You're probably right. I'm just a bit of a cinephile myself, so I'll watch anything and everything. But yeah, I was gonna say if you hadn't seen it, that it's not your fault.
Why you gotta do this to me?
Because I want you to cry and smear your makeup during the cast. Yes, we're grown men wearing makeup watching video games, but it is Movistar Riders and Cyclones going at it. Cyclones will be on the offense, and they are going to run a pharmacy of all things. And here comes the Sombra already in the back. That's Neptuno.
You gotta be careful. I mean, he is such a huge threat, right? He just becomes another DPS threat at this point, and when they've already got Finzi, Logix, and Swoosh having largely contributed in most of these team fights, adding on another damage dealer. But Coasty goes down first. Things are looking good for Cyclones as they are entering onto the point. Nice kill onto Logix, and now they're just cleaning house on the side of Cyclones.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to matter. Once you get 2 kills on this map, your reinforcements should go a little bit better. Yeah, the trades are always okay here, but coming up over the top, they have absolutely crushed it. First point's not a point you expect to hold real long anyway, but perhaps a little longer than that you would like. The silver lining here, of course, would be that Neptuno, despite dying and not getting probably the most visible work done, already has EMP up. So, well, close to it. Close enough for Sombra's sake.
We see teams have a lot more success generally here on point B, and especially with this EMP, it's going to really slow down the snowball effect that we normally see here on these assault maps right now as Cyclones make their approach on in. They've got the health pack control. Swoosh gets the first kill onto Epsi, and already Cyclones have to back out of this.
It's why I've always loved Sombra on this map, is because when you're in offense, you rely on that mega below. Sometimes if you lose one healer, you can still go down there and pick up the pack, and you're fine. And if you could take that away on defense, that's so much healing. It's such a central position. You're already down there retreating anyway. It's on one of your getaway paths, so you can try to get out. So that's such an important pack, and it lets your team use it on defense to charge it up. That's why, really, if you're doing your job as a Sombra, you should have it up every other fight, guaranteed, and sometimes every fight.
That's why we already see Neptuno. He's at 45, almost 50% so far, as they do push forward from Cyclowns. They use that sound barrier. They got the first kill onto Dante. Here comes the pulse bomb out from Devin. It connected, was able to force out the DMAC onto Finzi, and now they're starting to clean up. But once again, Logix taking out the pharmacy duo by himself.
So important, though, because look at the percentage for Epsi. He got the percent in the grave, but it was 99. He was going to have resurrection up. But yeah, as I mentioned, I look on the bright side of life here, and they will have those ults up for next time. So I think you're going to see a very aggressive push, possibly a barrage come in from Pox, and then as long as Epsi can stay alive to bring them back, it should be okay. Now, the counterplay, of course, is EMP is up.
Yeah, or just even a hack. The nice thing about Anubis here is that you do have the verticality. You have those platforms on the pillars that you can use. You can just get up there with a chance. Look here, there's the EMP. It actually didn't quite connect, so he's able to Guardian Angel on out. But despite that, Movistar Riders just clean up as Cyclones back out. And Neptuno, he should be able to get a decent amount of ultimate charge here, as Dante shouldn't be healing up.
It was done immediately again. Logix just landed the pulse bomb before the fight started, took out the tank. You're not going to go in without your tank onto an assault last, where you have to ace the other team for the most part to be able to capture this. So far, they've given up 0 progress. So as bad as that first defense looked, I mean, look, it's assault first. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes you just get rolled over. But really, where assault maps are made is this last point here. And Neptuno's done a great job of harass. Almost gets that Lucio. Does he have trans? Yeah, he's out.
Yeah, he is out, but that's still just stalling and buying time. So even though they picked up that kill onto Logix, he's going to have more than enough time to get back onto the point and get it back into this fight. Now, they are, once again, trying to focus down Dante, but he is able to back out for now. He dropped down real low, but Logix, once again, comes in, takes out Pox, but there's the tempo res coming out from Cyclones.
It's a tempo res, but all it really does is bring them back to full strength. You would like to have an advantage post-resurrection. They do not. EMP comes out again with a self-destruct, but the self-destruct not placed very well. Ends up in the corner, but it does doesn't matter. Once you get a couple of these kills, it is over. They're able to shut that down. And we were talking about Summer before this. It doesn't. I don't even look anymore. I don't even look when Logic throws a pulse bomb. I know what happens. It doesn't matter. Interesting enough, Destro has switched to the Roadhog, which I like for this point in particular to get that first kill, to get the entry kill. And one of the reasons I love Sombra, and this has nothing to do with gameplay or anything, when she translocates out, she goes, "See you later." I just love that line. I love that. Like, later, nerds. I'm out.
Bye, Felicia.
Oh, well done. Logix, I mean, the last thing you really want to do is take a breather in front of Logix.
Yeah,
he's probably got
not.
Pulse Bomb. He is, you know, he'll give you that parting gift. Bye, Felicia.
Look, he's already at 60% towards his next one, and he's been so impactful time and time again. And now we're seeing him at full health, right? Like last week he was playing with an eye infection, and now he's looking so good so far. Almost brought down, but Pox just wasn't able to land that secondary rocket, and we've got the hack out onto Pox. Neptuno
later
surviving with the sliver of health.
He does go out and finds himself into a Winston somewhere. Winston might not have been aiming for him. It's how Cleave works, and Neptuno will finally die, but he's got ult up, and you know, this is how you know that Movistar is feeling good right now. You rarely see fights out here, but when you're Logix, you're out there, and you've got Finzi behind you with the Diva, you're just living inside the Matrix, and you can truly dodge bullets in that scenario, and they're out there, and this defense looked really good, and I mean, the issue is that they've had to hold it for, I think it's like 7 minutes now. We're 5 minutes deep. We're 2.5 left, but it's down to about 2 pushes. I still think it comes down to the res. Never mind, they disagree. They're going to switch off of that, completely reset the clock here.
Yeah, one of the great things about playing that Sombra is that you have a person that can play basically scout, right? Go right into the back line, know that target, find out where he is, call it out, and then Movistar Riders goes in for the dive, and there they go. Once again, EMP comes on out, Logic connects with the Pulse Bomb. It feels like every single fight, he starts it off with the Pulse Bomb.
This is insanity. That should be the whole team kill. Destro is trying to get out with his life. They will desuit him, and very staggered out is Destro. That's going to hurt because you have to wait for your full 6 here. What's amazing to me is where they're taking these fights, and I think a lot of that is the Sombra, where you see them out there, and since you're running this divish defense anyway, if you see a chance for a good EMP, it doesn't matter if you're inside or outside, you just see a good chance for an EMP, and that's when your team has to come through and has to clean it up. There is a small window now where Neptuno will not have his EMP, so this should be a good push for them, but not a ton to work with on the side of Cyclowns. Blade comes in from Swoosh, and that's the noise his sword makes as it steals the soul of his enemies and is gone. 3 kills. That push is over. Less than 90 seconds remain, Jamerson.
This is looking terrible for Cyclowns. I mean, they haven't even gotten a tick. Generally, we see at least teams being able to get onto the point, take protracted fights, take about 3 minutes for fights to end, but they at least got a tick. But Movistar Riders, they're not even giving them that opportunity.
No, it's been brutal. Now they got to push into an EMP again. That's if they even get a push, because Logix is lurking with a bomb. They've got everything that they need going for them. They're going to try this entry. I think right side entry is the best way to get into Anubis last if you can actually get in. Logix doesn't even need his bomb. Takes down Epsi. There goes Pox. 3 over. I mean, this fight's over. It's done.
Yeah, they might get a consolation kill. I mean, not even that at this point. Movistar Riders, their defense have been looking so immaculate, and this is the thing. They've been running this for so long. They haven't been afraid to run Sombra on defenses, on hybrid maps and on assault maps.
Consolation, was it going to make them feel better? Like, it's not going to change any of the impact of the game. They're going to have to push into 6 ultimates. Now the economy is equalizing, though. Last good chance for Cyclones, and I think you call this a success if you get a tick, if you get anything, because you've just been absolutely stonewalled here.
That gives you at least a win condition, instead of just hoping to draw at this point. But already they've pushed forward. They've got that nano blade at the ready. Swoosh with 3 kills. Latex just on the point by himself as the self-destruct comes on out, and it connects, taking out Destro.
And that Primal Rage is not even an ultimate, that's just how he feels right now. It's good to express your feelings, Winston. You let it all out. It was the loneliest Winston in the world as Latex dove in, and all the people he expected to come behind him, they were just dead and gone. That was rough, man. That was... most of all, I want to say, I don't even blame Cyclowns. That was a perfectly executed defense.
No, it was rinse and repeat. Movistar Riders, they've been running this time and time again. They know what they're doing, and there are very few teams that actually run this Sombra the way that Movistar Riders do. How do you scrim against that?
I don't know, you stumped me.
You just don't.
You know how difficult it is to make me at a loss for words? You have any idea how difficult that is? Well played, sir.
Got to win in my book.
You also nailed me earlier. Bye, Felicia. That got me pretty good. That's a solid reference I do appreciate. Next matchup, of course, will be ZP and Jason Kaplan. They will bring in you Esperati and Team Expert. I think they only threw the graphic up there so they could hear me say Esperati.
Yeah. One of the teams that...
I think Left Guy disagrees. Yeah, it's my favorite Italian restaurant, Esperati's. Good deep dish.
I've never actually been, but that's because we're on different...
It doesn't exist.
Okay. You say deep dish, and the thing is, I've been actually craving deep dish for the longest time.
Yeah?
In Southern California, there's maybe 3 or 4 places that you can find good deep dish, and they're so far away.
You know, this is terribly ironic because I much prefer California pizza to Chicago pizza. We'll have to just we'll do a house swap one week and we'll just hang out at different places.
Have you been to California Pizza Kitchen?
I have, yeah.
There's actually so many in California, which I don't understand why you would need that franchise in California.
Yeah, they should just call it Pizza Kitchen.
Yeah, right?
Seems redundant at that point. Well, yeah, pizza talk aside, it's going to be really rough going here for Cyclowns. A first point hold might be your best bet here because you give them any kind of momentum towards second, and they're going to try the same strategy as it's going to be Epsi running the Sombra here. Logix can do no wrong on Tracer. We'll see what he can do on Widowmaker.
Yeah, I mean, I don't fault him for trying this out, right? We've talked about it before. An offensive Widowmaker, all you really need is that one or that second pick. But now, we do have Destro getting a little bit ahead of himself, trying to hunt down Logix. So there's already 2 kills have gone over for the side of Movistar Riders. So that's just going to be point A for them.
It's over. It is over. As easy as that was. First point, tough to hold. I guess they're just about easy or just about even as far as where their EMPs were. I guess that's what we're going to use as a first point gauge now. It's like, well, who got a better EMP on that first point? Because no one's playing any sort of defense here. It's like the NBA All-Star game.
Just give me the rock. Give me the rock.
Epsi is going to be on that Sombra, as we mentioned. It's going to be so important. But they're already in here. They're already starting this fight. That's aggro. I mean, Logix switched off. Logix is on Roadhog now, and as I mentioned, I think Roadhog still has his place here on last point, but they weren't with him. I'm not sure what they were trying to get done there, but they didn't get punished for it.
Yeah, the idea there is that we've actually seen offensive Sombras come out, and they contest that health pack, right? Which is what they want to do. They just want to try and punish FC before he can get it, but he was able to get it. EMP comes on out. FC, with that, takes out Dante, and that's one of the biggest benefits of that EMP, right? Especially if there's a Zen on the other side. To get rid of 150 effective health right then and there, and then just melts him.
I think that when you EMP a Zenyatta, given that 150 of his health is shields, that he should just float up in the air, like, you know, the old cartoons where someone would die, the angel would float up on their body. That should be the animation. You shouldn't even have to deal the last 50 points. If you get a Zen in the EMP, he just dies.
I mean, he is just all robot, right? That's how EMPs work. But
he's got a soul of a human, kind of, or a soul of any sort. Sunburn comes in. As they try to come in right side here, Swoosh is going to get his counter number, and Pox right there. A couple of kills. You have to ace this set, though. You can't really lose anything on your offensive push if you expect to get progress, but they only need the tick. Keep in mind, Epsi does get taken down. He had EMP at the very end of that.
That's what I was banking on the entire time. Now Pox, though, he pulls out the blade, gets 1 kill, gets a melee taken out, and now they're already at about 20% on the side of Movistar Riders. They just need about 13 more with that cleanup on Davin. They might have just done it. Here comes the EMP. MC immediately falls to Neptuno, though, and now Cyclowns just coming in one by one. We've got the nano boost on to Logix there, who had swapped off onto Hog, and Movistar Riders just focus firing perfectly at this point, taking them out one by one.
You can stall all you want, but until you get a kill, you don't even have a chance of bringing this back right now. And if you can get 1 kill, you do have a chance to get 2. All the better, but still no one back here. Whole hog on to Davin, and they're trying all points for Valor, but this one has been over for a bit, unless they get a kill.
No.
But that was, what, 18 kills in a row for the offense there, I mean, as they came back on and kept trying to stall it out. That map was all Movistar Riders. The other two are a little bit closer, but we will not have another draw in Group D. Movistar has won 3 maps now.
Yeah, it was just a lot of the space that was provided to Movistar Riders, right? Because of the way they were defending, not allowing Cyclowns to get a single tick. That meant that they had to play much closer to home. They couldn't allow anyone to try and even back cap it at this point.
Well, Movistar didn't play anywhere near close to home. Most of their fights were out here, as we're going to see. Swoosh comes out, he's going to nullify ultimates of his own, he gets the Nano Blade, and I loved where they played out there, mostly because I barely see that part of the map used. Usually it's just where you're walking to set up for the fight, but when you have them all grouped up outside there, which is where a team's always going to post up, just EMP after EMP, and they just hammered it home out there.
Yeah, and I want to talk about the importance of, I mean, we saw another contributing factor there of Genji. What happens when you pair a defensive Sombra, especially on second, with a potent dive, and a very proactive dive in that case, is they didn't even have to use as many ultimates necessarily. No. I mean, they were using a pulse bomb. That was really it. And then they could store up those other ultimates and use those to defend when it really, really needed them.
I think one of the biggest strengths of the EMP is that, like, once you use it into a dive composition, that means you're getting rid of most of their shift abilities, right? You're not able to jump out, you're not able to, like, try and reposition yourself, and so they're not able to close that gap onto the back line of the Sombra team at that point.
Well, dive, as the name would imply, is all about mobility. I think actually the more important thing, a point that you mentioned, was you don't have to use a whole bunch of EMP or a whole bunch of ultimates post EMP. And the great thing about that is, if you should somehow fail on that, you've got your support ults to fall back on and react with, so that if your EMP completely struggles and you get one kill, the other team resets, and you wasted a bunch of those offensive ults, they're still gonna have to jump into your sound barrier or your transcend or your depending on which other support you're running outside of Sombra. So they still have to deal with that.
Yeah, and now Epzi played Sombra as well, and